I'm just going to share this quickly with some friends in other locations. Friends in other locations. How's everybody doing out there? Are you all right? It's important to me that you are all right. All right, I'm going to share it there. I'm going to share it over here to a group. Boom. And I'm going to share it one more time over to the Koch Marshall Trio. More options. Share to a page. Go over here. Boom. Okay, I'm done with that. All right, folks. Again, I have deployed this guitar. It's actually heading out to Wildwood as we speak. Michael, what's going on out there? Shane, Steve, what's happening? This is a Reverend Double Agent W Blue Sparkle. This is a Wildwood exclusive. And this one has a serial number, just so you know, 41556. And I just got the tag to send it back out to it came from Reverend to my domicile, and it's headed out to Wildwood. Ah. Oh, I like it. Sounds good. Thank you, Mike Masters. A standard slide guitar standard tuning song. Well, we could always do that. This guitar is conducive to those kind of activities. Paulie Brown just checked in. Paul Brown. Jack says, "Hey, Greg, you rock, thank you. I just got my Blade Telecaster back yesterday. Oh, today it rocked. I like those, too. Those are nice." Okay, I'll do two questions real quick. Ryan asks, how do you do the chorus to Had to Cry Today? I used to do it up here. E7, G diminished, F sharp, half diminished 7, C sharp minor, C, C, A. But I saw Clapton and Steve Winwood play together. They did it down here. They just did that 7th shape, like D7 here. Right? I like doing it up here. Rock, you like my legs, you rascal? Rock's out there in beautiful Vancouver. So that's the chorus. I was asked to play the chorus of Had to Cry Today. So you can just do like a 7th chord here if you just want to go chromatically down. C sharp minor 7, C natural A. We get a little bit more fancy. Go. That's a good jam. Can you dig it? Will this live stream be posted on Facebook after? Yes, it'll live on Facebook as well as on Wildwood's YouTube page and my YouTube page. So you can get it lives on. Just ordered the LP for Toby Arrives on the website. Yeah. Well, that new record's coming, Michael. It's coming. I'm going back in tomorrow to the studio to do some more mixing. And probably going to have to narrow it down. I think we've got too many tunes because we want to do a release that will be delicious on vinyl as well. You know what I'm saying? We want to be able to put it on the vinyl ski as well as, and then we'd have stuff for another record after that. You know what I'm saying? We got plenty of jams. Plenty of jams for the kids. Yeah, the Hendrix thumb for the bass, and I do that all the time. Timmy Lyle's in the house. Of course, these guitars, what's really cool is this bass contour control. So right now I have it full up. So when you're here in that middle position, you're getting that P90 as well as the humbucker, the Alnico humbucker. But if I go back a little bit, it actually takes away some volume. It's a little bit more transparent. Yeah, Allure will be on it, Matt. You got it. Yeah, that tune's on there as well. That's the harmonic vibrato that's on my Koch amplifier, ladies and gentlemen. So you're just hearing everything on the amp. Funky Klaus is on there. So on and so forth. Yes. Jack asks, what is Joe Bonamassa like in person? He is my all-time favorite guitarist, inspires me to pick up the guitar and shred the blues. Well, excellent. He's a fine fellow. We had a very good time down there in Tennessee. And I actually first met Joe probably 2004? 2000, yeah, that sounds about right. I did a tour opening up for him, just a few days and couple, 3-4 days in the Netherlands years ago, and we've been pals ever since. Can you dig it? How is old Funky Klaus doing in the pen? Yeah, that's a good question. I talked to him not all that long ago. Klaus Schmidt, who the tune Funky Klaus is named after, is our German tour manager and booking agent over there in mainland Europe. And I'll tell you what, he is a character. But I think he's doing all right. All right, somebody asked about some standard tuning slide stuff. So if I was doing standard tuning slide on this guitar, I might pick the middle position, bring that bass contour all the way up, and probably go back a skosh on the tone control a little bit. the idea. Can you dig it? That's a little song also going to be on the new record. That one, our working title is Courtesy Flush. Again, with the childish humor. But you know what? I've made it this far with childish behavior. You know what? Things worked out all right. So they say it's always time to grow up, but you know what? It's not going to happen. Courtesy Flush comes from, I had that tune lurking, and we were playing out in California, and we were playing at a place called Mulvaney's there in Long Beach. And my son Dylan had a moment where he needed to. Why am I telling this story? Anyway, someone yelled Courtesy Flush when he was in the bathroom taking care of business. Courtesy Flush! And I thought, you know what? That's a good name for a song, or at least a working title, for a beautiful kind of soulish slide song, right? Just makes you want to take care of business. Man, child, coming on strong. This is a double agent. Double Agent W. Double Agent W. And in the Wildwood exclusive Blue Sparkle. Can you see that? You see my donut light thing in the background, but see, I'm going to get it just right. You can see that. I think it sounds delicious. I think it sounds delicious. Courtesy Flush and Dirt Spider on the same album? Yes. And if we're of course, the Gain to Quarantine is also on the record. So, so many activities. Can you dig it? Let's add a little heat to it and see what we got. Is it Freddie King's birthday today, was it? Yes. Rare, 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 rare. Mm-hmm. Can you dig it? What a glorious guitar. Can you dig it? Look at it. Look at that donut. It is the crazy celestial donut, shining its radiant eye upon this guitar. Again, this particular guitar is one of them Reverend Double Agent W Blue Sparkle. You got your P90 in the neck. You got that humbucker in the back. You got Mr. Wiggles down here in case you want to grab it and go wiggly wiggly doo. Scooby Dam doo wiggly diggly doo. And this one I'm actually sending out to Wildwood. After I get done here, I'm going to put it in the doggone case, wrap it up, maybe with one of my cats. I'm looking at you, Luna Cat. Your days are numbered. Just kidding. Sending it out to Colorado. Rocky Mountain, hey, Rado Colo. And if you want this particular guitar that sounds so damn good, this one is serial number 41556. Tattoo that to your butt cheek forever and ever. Imagine that. After a long and fruitful life, you pass away, and the undertaker goes, I wonder what 41556 means. And only God, the devil, and you will know at that point. Am I right or am I right? Greetings from India. Hey, hey! Greg, was it hard to get used to the LP? I'm having a hard time with this guitar. Tellies are killer, though. No, I find Les Pauls to be very comfortable. It's kind of one of those things where I'm so used to playing Fender scale guitars, and then when I get on a Gibson, it's like, oh my God, it's so easy. It's like butter. So that I have to reel in my vibrato a little bit because I want to go, ay-yo, ho-yo, ho-yo. Oh, Mike Masters wants to see the beginning of Luna Girl, which is also on the new record. So far on the new record, we've got the Courtesy Flush, which is the tune I just played a little while ago on Slide. We've got the Funky Klaus. We got Allura. We got Succulent. We got this Luna Girl. Thank you. Good night. Luna Girl, that one's on there. Someone asked if Daddy Longlegs is going to be on. Yes, it is. Daddy Longlegs is on there as well as Nubby Was a Hoarder Man. Nubby was a hoarder man. Yeah. Is that a Paul Farrell board? It is indeed, my friend. Does sound good with that humbucker back there, doesn't it? Can we hear the P90? You certainly can, Lee. Someone asked what kind of guitar this is again. This is a Reverend Double Agent W, and this particular color scheme is an exclusive Wildwood thing. So this very guitar will be headed out to Wildwood and is available for nabbing and plucking. You can nab it, you can pluck it, and feel the great power of rock coursing through your being and out through the speaker of whatever amplifier you're playing and into the world, setting things right. It needs it. Right about now. The world needs the power of rock. Am I right or am I right? Diggity doggone who need. The board looks dry. No. Just feels good. Doesn't feel dry. Love how you don't lose any highs and you turn down the volume. Nice balance between that neck, position, and that humbucker and back. P90, humbucker. That's a nice sound. Good little guitar, does a little bit of rock, does a little bit of roll. It does all those things for you. Can you dig it? Again, it is our Reverend Double Agent W in Blue Sparkle. A special Wildwood offering. Special Wildwood offering. Ready to rock. I like it. And the blue is quite fetching. Quite fetching. All right, just for the hell of it, I'm going to mess around with a few other little guitars here. You know what? A guitar that just might be fun for your listening and dining pleasure. This is not for sale at Wildwood or anything, but every now and again, people like to see cool, different guitars. And I have a bunch of guitars here from my buddy Carl Wallin. Carl Wallin, as it said, and I think he's Swedish and Norwegian. He's got a delicious coupling of Nordic countrydoms. And this is an old Epiphone Zephyr with these mini humbuckers. Let's see what the heck this sounds like. Am I right? Sounds good. Right? Dooba-dooba-dabba-dooba-doo-doo-doo-doo. Cool little guitar. I like it. Sounds good. So that's a thin Zephyr. I don't know what year this is. My buddy Carl will probably pipe in and say, hey, that's my Diggity Dukin. I like it. Now, let's go over to another one of Carl's guitars, which is something that's very similar to my old guitar that I spoke about in the Ancient Scrolls, which is this 80s. I bought my first 335 that got stolen, which was my main guitar when I was a junior in high school all through college. It looked exactly like this bad boy. And they're now available again. You can get a cool USA-made 335 for about, I guess, like $2,500. And they're very similar to these old ones from the 80s, dot necks. And let's just hear this Pascal a little bit, if we could. Can you dig it? Oh, that's old school jam of mine back in the day. What do we got out there, ladies and gentlemen? Are these guitars for sale at Wildwood? This one is not, but this is very similar to the ones that are available from Gibson USA. The coloring is very similar. This is actually an 81. The one I bought that got stolen years ago, I bought in 1983. I saved up my money, and I bought it for $666. The price of the beast. Never forget, I saved up I was working in a plastics factory that summer. My dad was a lawyer, and one of his clients was a plastic factory. Can you get my kid a job? That was before that. Maybe exposing my kid to 8 hours a day of plastic resin maybe wasn't a good idea. Back then, I was like, yeah, what the hell? Good job. And so I saved up my money and, took 10 years off my life by working there. And I saved up my dough. And I remember it was a Friday afternoon. I got my paycheck, and I had enough money to go over and get my guitar from Walker Music in beautiful Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, which no longer exists. And I went, and my mom was mad because we were going up to our cottage that weekend, and she was getting ready for the cottage. Now, as a parent and getting older, when you're trying to get out the door, and your kid's like, but I want to stop over this place and She's like, I got enough crap to do and you want me to drop everything and take it? I was like, come on, Mom, I've been saving all summer, breathing in toxins just to save up money for this guitar that's priced like the number of the beast. So we went over there. I won. We went over there, and I had my $666. And the guy goes, with tax, that will be. I'm like, tax? I don't have money for tax. My mom's like, sorry, Charlie. I'm like, come on. So my mom lent me the money for the sales tax, and I brought my guitar home. And that was my main guitar. I had a Tele too. I played up till that point, but I went to a jazz camp that summer and fell under the allure of Larry Carlton and Robin Ford. And so I wanted to have the big old sound of the humbuckers. And a 335 seemed like just what the doctor ordered. So it was blonde, just like the same color. This one's actually got a busted headstock, but they repaired it long ago, so it's actually quite nice. And anyway, so most of the time you got to get a custom shop guitar, and they're pricey as the day is long. But I've been able to play some of the Gibson USA. Remember not too long ago, a few weeks back, I played one of their 345s that didn't have the Veritone, but had the dual parallelograms inlay and so on and so forth. That was a hell of a guitar, and also equitably priced in comparison to a lot of things. So they're also making a version of this guitar in the USA factory that's going for about $2,500, I believe. Yeah. Can you dig it? So these pickups on here, little insider, maybe I'll get in trouble for saying it, but that makes it even more salacious. Sorry, that was my laugh from the ghoul from Scooby-Doo, one of those old Scooby-Doo episodes. One of the ghouls, who of course was probably Mr. Formsby or whoever. Mr. Formsby! I don't even know if that's a name. But anyway, the ghoul did that laugh. I don't know about you, but if I saw a creature making that noise, I'd probably start laughing. I wouldn't run away screaming looking for Scooby snacks, but be that as it may. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Formsby. Anyway, where was I? I think I was talking about something. Oh, yeah. So this guitar has those old Tim Shaw pickups in it. Tim Shaw, who's now a Fendersman, but back in the day, he was a Gibsonsman. Anyway, and people crave these pickups. They crave them because they sound so damn good. And I told him, there's a buddy of mine, great blues guitar player and vocalist named Guy King from Chicago. He plays one of these guitars from that era, from the 80s. And he loves the sound of the pickups. He's like, why are those pickups so great? I go, well, they're those old Tim Shaw pickups. There's a thing. People talk about these Tim Shaw pickups. Tim Shaw pickups. And so he got another 335, but of the same era, but one of the pickups was bad. And he's like, where do I get another one of these? I go, I could ask Tim Shaw next time I see him. And so I saw Tim Shaw at a NAMM show, and I said, hey, Broseph, what's happening? And we started talking about this the next day. Oh, speaking of which, I go, remember, I used to have a 335 with your pickup. He didn't remember that I had a 335, but remember the guitars with your pickups in them? And he's like, oh, yeah. I said, well, where could one find a more modern version of that pickup if they wanted to? And earlier that year, this is a couple of years ago, Fender had debuted a pickup that they're putting in some Strats with 2 single coils and a humbucker, and they call it the Shawbucker. And it's an open core looking pickup. And anyway, that particular pickup, he said, is very, very similar indeed to the pickups of old that are in these guitars. Can you dig it? Well, all right. Back when I was getting my high school band, I can still kind of remember the set list. And I played this guitar, not this exact guitar, but I think we've been through it. Very similar version. And actually, I had a Yamaha G100 212 amp, ladies and gentlemen. It was a solid state amp. But I'm going to tell you right now, that was a damn good sounding amp. Great clean sound on that beast, and the lead sound was actually very usable. And so back in the day, I would go to a gig and I would use that amp with the channel switcher, and that was it. and I'd use this guitar, and we did all kinds of different tunes. We did everything from like I'm So Glad. We did that. What else? We did that old Paul McCartney song. Remember that first Paul McCartney record that? What? Pick up a little microphone. This pickup needs to be, that bridge pickup needs to be dipped in a little bit of wax-a-rooney, because it's a little, little microphonic. Isn't Shawbucker different string width than Gibson? That could be. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I'll have to get out my abacus. What are the things that you can adjust on an electric guitar? Well, the action, certainly the neck, pickup height, things of this nature, all those things. All those things work. That was Abe Lincoln's favorite album. Jay, is that an age joke? Are you age shaming me? Are you going, okay, boomer? Not a boomer! Gen X! Remember other tunes from that was a... Every day I just want to get up, get out of my head. Of all the J45 standard guitars you have played, was there a dud? I want to purchase online like a few I played last year. Is the Cutaway a big difference? Boy, of the J45 is a great workhorse guitar. All the ones I played at Wildwood were pretty fantastic. The Montana ones, fantastic. But if you want, at Wildwood, they'll do that. You just call them up, email them, and just say, look, I'm interested in these 4 guitars. If they have, sometimes they have even more than 4 of a particular guitar. And if there's not a video, although I did plenty of videos where you can go back and forth between them and say, well, that one's got a little bit more of this, that one's got a little bit more of that. But say that there are 4 particular guitars that there are not videos for, they will go from one to the next and say, okay, I picked out these 2 that I think are sound the best. This one does this. This one does that. And then they can guide you through your... That's why Wildwood rules, because they got the ears of doom. And they can pick out, kind of decipher what you're looking for. And then based on that, give you the information that they're hearing in these different guitars to match what you're looking for with what they got. Can you dig it? That's why I said, well, Wildwood's kind of expensive. That's because their customer service is par excellence. Par excellence. Plus, they'll set it up any way you want it. By the time you get it, it's ready to rock. That's all there is to it. Randy, I'm 50. Says I'm 55, and it's too late for me to grow up. Randy, I'm 54. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. The first guitar I ever played was a 1965 J45. Awesome. How are you doing, Greg? Nice 335. Thank you very much. I am doing well, Nick. Thank you very much. And I'll tell you what, the J45, 65 especially, would be delightful. But the Gibson Montana guitars I played are very nice. Very nice. I've got a hankering for either a J45 or a J200, SJ200. Those are the 2 that really trip my trigger. I love the look and playability of a Hummingbird, and they're definitely cool, but when I play those other 2, I just like a little bit more low-end thunder for some reason. It's not that I would refuse a Hummingbird. Don't get me wrong, but there you go. Can you dig it? Paul Brown services do not come cheap. That's right, Michael. That is correct. I'm looking for a Gibson Les Paul Smartwood. I don't know what that is, a Smartwood. Is that one that's made out of wood, out of cognizant trees? Don't cut me down, sir. But if you do, construct a guitar and I will imbue it with great wisdom. Oh, damn you, sir. Wow, that was like a movie. Just placed my first order with Wildwood. Can't wait to receive it. It's cool to know that Greg has played it. Oh, well, thank you, Tyler. They do a good job, those boys out there at Wildwood. I'm telling you right now. They do a good job. Paul used my quote. And I don't mean this in a derogatory sense, and I don't mean this in a predatory sense, but I've said in the music business, everyone's got a price, and you'd be surprised how low it actually is. I mean, you don't want to take advantage of people. It means that if you want, Joe Blow from Kokomo to play on your record and you're afraid it's going to cost $1 million, you never know until you ask. Sometimes they'll say, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, no, don't worry. Give me whatever. That's what it means. It doesn't mean you should try to take advantage of people on the downs. I don't mean that. But it's funny. You'd be surprised how low it actually is. Well, I think, in the music industry, as I have a conversation with myself, I think there's a lot of people that, from the outside probably think, oh, this guy's playing here and he's playing there. He's probably worth X amount of dough. And you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people who, through one reason or another, have been, not able to accumulate money especially with any kind of a sense of annuity, something that, mailbox money. And they're just kind of going from one gig to the next. And when those gigs stop, all of a sudden they're like, hey, I got about 6 months worth of dooski. Oh, what happened? COVID-19. I guess, what? You know what I'm saying? So that's a horrible reality, but that's what I'm saying. What guitar do you really regret selling? Well, that's a good question. I had, so when I had this particular guitar, not this exact guitar, but the one that got stolen that was very similar to this, except a year apart or 2 years apart. I was still in college at that time, and I had our family car. One of them I had a Chevy Citation. Anyone remember this Chevy Citation? I had two of them in my time, and I'm not embarrassed to admit it. Anyway, so I had that car, and this guitar got stolen from it. So because that guitar was still under my dad's homeowner's insurance, I was able to get a replacement. So this is probably 1988 that I got a replacement for my 83 335. And so I got one. It was a little more, the wood was lighter and it was flamier. I remember that. I remember it was a good sounding guitar, though. I enjoyed it, but I didn't really connect with it like I connected with this one. Or not with this one, but you know what I mean, this kind of one. So I actually, when my then girlfriend, now wife, was going to move down from Minneapolis to the Milwaukee area, I needed money for the down payment or for the security deposit on an apartment, and I pawned that guitar to get the loot in order to put down, because I wasn't really playing it anymore. I'd switched to a Strat and do a telly with a humbucker in the neck and a kind of a Nashville setup, but reverse Nashville setup. So a humbucker had a Fender Seymour Duncan Stag Mag pickup in the neck that I could coil tap, reverse wound Alnico pickup in the middle, and then a Broadcaster pickup and back. That was an awesome guitar, I might add. Those are my main guitars. So I got rid of the 335 so that my lovely could move down, and it worked out. I'm going to say it worked out. But I wish I had that guitar. I also at that particular time had a Jim Kelly FA foot activated channel switch FACS amplifier. I regret selling that amp very much. I regret selling. I had a Mary Kay 62 reissue Mary Kay Strat from that time period. I regret selling that. What else? I think there's probably more. That's where guitars come in. You're like, no, I'm not playing it anymore. I think I'll get rid of it. And you're like, no. But what are you gonna do? She was trouble and is. How did my 335 get stolen? This is an excellent story. So, summer of 1988. I'm playing at a theme park south of Minneapolis for my summer job. A lot of my friends from the music department at my school I was going to in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. A bunch of them are from the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. And they're like, hey, there's a cool summer gig. You can play in a band at this theme park. You know, you only work during the day. You got your nights off. The money's pretty good, yada, yada, yada. So we all tried out, and we all got in bands. So I was playing in the day at Valley Fair, and I was playing under a gazebo in a trio that backed up these three gals that sang and danced. And we did, it was a two-part set. The first part was a Whitney Houston medley, and the second part was a country medley. And I've repressed it all for the most part. Anyway, so during the off days, I'd sit around and play guitar. In the evenings, I'd go out and, you know, cause a little trouble, whatever the case may be. And on one particular day, I was at Pete's Guitars in St. Paul, which was a vintage store of great renown. Pete was a guy that dealt with a lot of the rock stars of the day, you know, Clapton and George Harrison and Keith Richards and all these types, Bob Dylan. I all shopped at this place and bought guitars from Pete. So I was in there one day and I was looking for a super reverb. And so I plugged into the super reverb and playing a Strat. Me and some buddy of mine, and I'm playing, and Pete's sitting there at the counter, and he's talking to this guy, and they're kind of looking over as I'm noodling around a little bit, playing some, you know, my filth, whatever. And all of a sudden, this guy walks over who's talking with Pete. He goes, "Hey, are you in a band?" And I go, "Well, I'm playing out at Valley Fair during the day, if that counts." He's like, "Well, I need a guitar player for next Saturday night. Would you be available? You only have to do the first half of the night. The other guitar player's got a conflict and he can't be there." I said, "Sure, absolutely." He goes, "Great. It's at the such and such ballroom. Be there at this time. My name's Pat Hayes. The name of the band is Lamont Cranston." I just started laughing because everyone knew who Lamont Cranston was. It's like the blues band up there. They had opened for the Stones, you know, big blues band with horns, and they had the big tune, the Upper Mississippi Shakedown, ladies and gentlemen. And so yeah, I went out that night with not this guitar, but the one that looked like it. And at that time, I played a Music Man RD112 with a JBL E112 in it, which was a weapon. But that 335 and that amp was a magical combination. So I brought that combo, played a vigorous set, had a great time. I met my buddy, what the hell was his name? God, I'm seeing him in my mind right now, and I can't remember his name. Dougie. For God's sake. It's gone. Anyway, the brain. It's hard. And then I went over to see my buddies from Milwaukee that were in town that were playing over at Bunkers, and my buddies in Leroy Airmaster. So me and my then girlfriend, now wifey poo, went from that gig over to Bunkers, hung out, saw the band, and then we went back to our place where we invited the guys from the band back for a party, yada, yada, yada. Well, when I got back to my apartment, it was very late at night, and for whatever reason, I think I might have been a little tipsy, but of course I wasn't driving, and I think I failed to lock the door, or at least I think the back door was open, like a jackass. So the next morning when I got up, I went out to the vehicle to go to my job at Valley Fair. I had to be there by noon, and I noticed the back door was ajar, and both my amp and guitar were gone. Interestingly enough, the Yamaha keyboard that was in a road case that was in the back of the hatchback that was clearly visible was left alone. That was not mine. It was somebody else's. So that's how the guitar got stolen. Kind of a long story, but kind of a good one, if I'm honest. All right, how are we doing on time here? Holy cats, it's been an hour already. Where does the time go, ladies and gentlemen? Where does the time go? I have looked for my old guitar because there was a particular nick right at the top of the headstock, right here, and then in the case there was an old black Gibson case, and there was an old can light from some place I was playing, made a big burn mark on the front of the case. So if you ever see if the case still exists anymore, that is, and if the guitar isn't in pieces in some hellhole in Burnsville, Minnesota, that particular guitar would have that little nick, and the case would have that little thing. Time is fun when you're having flies. I can dig that, Mike Masters. Can you dig it? Red interior. Yes, the case was red interior. Am I not mistaken? Yeah, I think that's correct. It was a black outside, And it wasn't real thick. Like the case I have for this one that Carl has for this one's thick. I don't remember it being that thick. But yeah, that was a great guitar. Mr. Miller asks, is your playing influenced by Roy Buchanan? It sounds like it with the volume swell bends. Absolutely, I'm a Roy Buchanan fan. You know what's interesting about my love of Roy Buchanan? It kind of came later because my older siblings didn't have Roy Buchanan records, nor did I have friends that were like, hey, you got to check Roy Buchanan out. I think I had heard the name, but didn't really hear him until, I'm in high school. And in probably my junior year of high school, he got signed to Alligator Records and came out with the record When a Guitar Plays the Blues. And I heard that record and it blew my mind. And then I was in like Flynn. And I remember I had that record. And then I went to college. And while I was up at college, I remember that there was Sneaky Pete's Blues Cafe that would be played on the college radio station. One particular day, I went in, took a shower, came back, was in my room, and I walked in and I was playing Sneaky Pete's on the stereo, and I heard this guitar solo, and I remember just sitting there going, oh my God, who is this? And I thought, it's got to be Roy Buchanan. And I don't remember specifically what record it was from, but it's got to be, it was live. I think it was Roy's Blues from Livestock. And ever since then, I've been a huge Roy fan. I was Roy fan. Of course, Danny Gatton, yada, yada, yada. Barry H. says, hey, Greg, huge fan of yours. Thank you very much. How did you hone your chicken picking skills? Any tips? Thanks, man, and keep rocking. Well, boy, initially, I'll just name records. I mean, I think we did this the other day, too, but we'll do it again. When I first heard Albert Lee playing on Eric Clapton's Just One Night record, that live record, particularly the solo on Further On Up the Road, which to this day I think is one of the best 24-bar blues solos. I mean, it's not really, he's doing more than the blues scale, let's put it that way. It's, got elements of swing in it and so on and so forth. So there was that, but then there was, the first Dire Straits record. There was Ray Flack with Ricky Skaggs, the record Highways and Heartaches. The one with got your heart broke, no running from the reason, got your heart broke, don't give up on believing, so on and so forth. And then I got Albert Lee's solo records. There was one just called Albert Lee, where he's standing in the front with this white Telecaster, and then the other one with Country Boy on it. And then I heard him play on this Dave Edmunds record that had been out for a while, but I didn't hear it until later. Dave Edmunds' Repeat When Necessary. Billy Bremner plays some great stuff on there. Dave Edmunds plays some great stuff, but there's a solo on a tune called Sweet Little Lisa. You hear him playing his B-Bender telly. I mean, if you had one song to influence you on chicken picking and, that kind of hot style of country guitar, I'd pick that one. And then, later on, as I said, you got your Danny Gatton, you got your Roy Buchanan, but then I started getting into more James Burton and Jimmy Bryant, and then listening to Chet more and Jerry Reed. Then I heard Brent Mason and yada, yada, yada. So, but as far as learning the techniques, I just sat down with records and just had at it for the most part. I do have a bunch of instructional stuff where I go over everything from the video guitar gristle. I go a bunch of there's a DVD of that. I do a bunch of that stuff on there. I do some of the chicken picking on the blues or Guitar Clues, Operation Pentatonic. The country book, I go over Hal Leonard country guitar. I go over a bit on there. Yada yada. Travis Curtin asks, how long did you teach at McNally Smith College of Music? I was there when it was called Music Tech and when it was in Minneapolis. Travis, I taught there for about a year and a half. My son went to school there, and I was like a, artist in residence, if you want to say that. I did that for a semester, and then that was like the spring semester of maybe 2014. And then I think I taught all year of 2015 as a full-fledged faculty member. And then after that year, my son didn't want to go there anymore. So I was like, well, then I'm not going to teach. I was teaching full-time, but I was only there 2 days a week. And because of that, my kid went to school for free. Obviously, it was a good move, but it was a lot because I was doing everything else I was doing. Still going out to Wildwood, still doing Fishman things, still touring with the band. it was an extraordinarily busy year. And then I'd have to be in Minneapolis on Mondays and Tuesdays, which is 5 hours away from Milwaukee. So a lot of times I'd fly up, teach, and then fly elsewhere, going this, that, and the next place. But it all panned out. So it was a good year, but then I was done. Hey, long-time listener, first-time caller. When you are practicing guitar, do you focus on technical stuff like picking finger? Do you focus on notes and know that the technique will follow? Grant, it is a combination of all the above. There are times where I'll revisit something that I haven't played for a while and realize I'm a little rusty on a certain technique, be it a certain passage that involves alternate picking, or it might be Travis picking oriented. And I'll just kind of recalibrate, as I like to refer to it. So I'll slow it way down and kind of contextualize it in a different way. Sometimes I'll go, when I'm doing this run, I'm always flubbing this one note when I switch from one string to the next. So in my mind, I'll construct little things like, I'll just give it like a mental accent there. Not that I'm actually accenting it as I'm playing it, but I might be cognizant of the fact that, I always have trouble in that little spot. So I'm going to make sure that in my mind, I know that I'm going to hit it. So there's all kinds of different things, but it's a combination when I'm practicing of maintaining repertoire of my own, revisiting songs. A lot of times when I'm playing a tune, I'll be like, this section where I'm improvising is a little awkward, and I'll try different concepts of things that I'm hoping sound better. It's always always refining. When I'm playing something I hear, like, that needs to be better. So or it needs to be different, or it needs to be. A lot of times I'm just into simplifying the stuff because I like sounds of good vibrato and good phrasing more than. So anyway, I hope that answers your question. Is that a Tama snare? No, it is that's a Gretsch snare. That's a little Gretsch kit. All right, folks, I think we went a little over today, but thanks for tuning in. And again, that Reverend guitar I was playing earlier today, that's going back out to Wildwood. So that is a Blue Sparkle Double Agent W and serial number 41556, if that trips your trigger. And anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central Time, as I do my Fishman Live, and Dylan will be with me tomorrow. So there you have it, folks. Have a good one. We'll see you later.